episode 561 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Day 1 of this huge pro wrestling weekend is now in the books, and I will be talking all about New Japan Pro Wrestling New beginning in Sapporo, where a new champion was crowned, TNA No Surrender. Also, another new champion crowned in the main event. And as usual, on a Friday night, going to be talking about WWE Friday Night Smackdown and AEW Rampage. All that tonight, right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Welcome, Wrestling Fanatics, to episode 561 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Lance Brock here tonight. Big, huge pro wrestling weekend is now underway. And 4 shows down. 3 more to go. I am going good because I am definitely excited. As of right now anyway, I'm wide awake, full of energy. After 4 shows so far, it's about 1:30 a.m. right now. We are about 3.5 hours away to the WWE Elimination Chamber Premium Live event, with the kickoff starting at 4 a.m. Eastern. So hopefully everyone will be able to stay up, because unless you're in Australia or somewhere else, in most places I believe it's actually starting between midnight and 6 a.m. But first, right here on 360 Wrestling Fanatic, we're going to get into New Japan Pro Wrestling. And this morning I was able to get up, get on NJPW World, and watch night 1 of the new beginning in Sapporo, which of course is in Sapporo. And our English commentary team for tonight, we have Walker Stewart and Chris Charlton, who I have mentioned this before, but I feel like Chris Charlton especially, and Walker Stewart, after taking Kevin Kelly's place as English commentator for New Japan shows, I thought both of them have been doing a great job, especially Walker Stewart last week for some of the fantastic Mania shows he called solo. I thought he did a very good job. And Chris Charlton has such a knowledge for Japanese wrestling. He is great on commentary. So, in my opinion, great commentary team, Charlton and Stewart. And let's get right into the matches. Toru Yano and Tomoya defeated Tomaka Homa and Shoma Kato, 7 minutes, 10 seconds. Next up, we have Zack Sabre Jr. taking on Yuji Nagata. Sabre gets the win here via submission, 7 minutes, 56 seconds. Good match here. I don't know if I would say real great, but it was definitely a solid wrestling match, or at least in my opinion anyway. House of Torture, Ren Narita, Yujiro Takahashi, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeated Togi Makabe, Taguchi, and Oleg Budin, 7 minutes, 15 seconds. Next up, we have a 10-man tag team match. Chaos, Katsuchika Okada, Tomohiro Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Yo defeated the United Empire. Jeff Cobb, Great Okan, Francisco Akira, and Callum Newman, 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Okada getting a win. After the match, Chaos celebrates in the ring, and Great Okan just stands on the ramp staring at Okada, showing some disrespect. Next up is another 10-man tag. Los Ingobernables de Japón, Naito, Shingo Takagi, Yoda Tsuyu, sorry, I know I mess up the names, Hiromu Takahashi, and Bushi defeat just 5 guys: Sanada, Taichi, Yui Uemura, Doki, and Taka Michinoku, 10 minutes, 7 seconds. Not a bad match here. These last 2-man tags, I'm going to say they were real great, spectacular matches, but they were good though. The IWGP Women's Championship on the line. Mayu Iwatani defeated Mina Shirogaka to retain, 12 minutes, 28 seconds. Next up, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Sho defeated El Desperado via countout, 16 minutes, 13 seconds. Evil defeated Shota Umino to retain the IWGP Never Openweight Championship, and making his NJPW debut, the original Bro Matt Riddle defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. 8 minutes, 53 seconds. And in the main event for night 1 of the New Beginning in Sapporo, making his NJPW in-ring debut, Wanted Man Nick Nemeth defeated David Finlay to win the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, 23 minutes, 7 seconds. Really enjoyed this main event here. And that was the New Beginning in Sapporo. Overall, really good card. And I always say this after all the shows lately, but I definitely recommend checking out NJPW World. Now that is available on Roku, which is what I watch it on, but I'm sure it's available on a lot of other different streaming platforms as well. Again, though, it is definitely worth checking out, whether you just try it for a month, and if for some reason you don't like it, you can always cancel. But I don't see that happening, though. Now, let's go on over to TNA Plus for TNA No Surrender, which was tonight from New Orleans, Louisiana, at the Alero Center. Our commentators for tonight, we had Tom Hannafin and the Drama King, Matthew Raywalt. Things got kicked off first, though, with the countdown to No Surrender. Tag team action. The Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel defeated Speedball Mountain. The team of Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Trent Seven. 8 minutes, 12 seconds. Pretty good match here, especially for a countdown show. I'd say this one was really good. The System, Eddie Edwards, and the Most Professional Wrestler, Brian Myers, with Alicia Edwards in their corner, defeated the Intergalactic Jet Setters, the team of Kushida and Kevin Knight. This kind of plays a part in the main event tonight because the System in the corner of Moose and the Jet Setters will be in the corner of Alex Shelley for the World Championship match, which is the first ever No Surrender match. And I'll get to the stipulation of that match when I talk about the main event later on. And now we kick off the main card of TNA No Surrender. And first we have a number one contenders match where the winner will receive a shot at the TNA World Championship at Sacrifice in 2 weeks, which will also be on TNA Plus. Eric Young taking on Frankie Kazarian. Good match here. Once again, the two TNA originals. And Eric Young gets the win. And then after, Frankie Kazarian now calls himself the King of TNA. Cuts a promo after, and then he attacks the referee and rolls the referee back in the ring, and then the other referees and security come in and help him out. So far this heel Frankie Kazarian I kind of like so far. I think it could go pretty well for him, but we will just have to wait and see. And 9 minutes 23 seconds for that one. Next up is the final match of the best of 3 series for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. ABC, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, defending against the grizzled young vets, James Drake and Zach Gibson. The first 2 matches of the series was very good, and this final match was no different. Very good tag team match here. It is ABC getting the win to retain. 17 minutes, 48 seconds, still TNA World Tag Team Champions, Ace Austin and Chris Bay, the team known as ABC. Really good match here once again. Next up, we have PCO taking on Khan. Kind of a short match here, only went 3 minutes 49 seconds. PCO getting the win via disqualification after Khan used a chair. And then after the match, the two brawled. And then they fought up to the stage, and Khan found a zip tie up there and tied PCO to the tunnel at the entrance and hit him with a steel chair while he was tied to the tunnel. I'd say this one was kind of disappointing since it was just a non-finish, or a DQ, I should say. It was short too. I would say this one definitely not one of the best matches on this card. And next up, the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships are on the line. MK Ultra, Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich challenging the champions DK, Havoc, and Rosemary. Pretty good match here. MK Ultra get the win, becoming two-time TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champions. 7 minutes 27 seconds. Once again, I thought this was a pretty good match. Next up, the Walking Weapon Josh Alexander takes on Simon Gotch. Very good match here. Definitely a good wrestling match. And this is definitely one of the matches on tonight's card that I recommend that you check out. 16 minutes 43 seconds. Josh Alexander getting the win. The TNA World Championship is on the line next in the first ever No Surrender match. The TNA World Champion Moose with the System, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, taking on one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley, with the Intergalactic Jet Setters, Kevin Knight and Kushida. And in the back, Alex Shelley explained why his Motor City Machine Gun tag team partner, Chris Sabin, wasn't going to be in his corner because he is getting ready for his match, which will be in the main event, defending the X Division Championship against Mustafa Ali. But on to the match. I thought this was done pretty well. Told a pretty good story. Moose and Alex Shelley both told their cornermen, as they called them tonight, no matter what happens, do not throw in the towel. And also they had different colors for each one, which I thought was a nice touch for this match. Very good match. And the finish, though, sees Moose hit Alex Shelley with a spear. And there is a chain involved in the match. And then Moose wraps the steel chain around his shoulder, of course, so the spear will hurt more. He hits the spear with the chain wrapped around his shoulder. And it is at that time where Kushida throws in the towel. So the winner of the No Surrender match and still TNA World Heavyweight Champion Moose. Not surprised that Moose retained. I predicted Moose this morning on Good Morning Wrestling Fans. Definitely a fan of Moose as world champion. Don't have a problem with that. But the question that I do have is what's next for Alex Shelley? Does he stay in the world title picture? Do him and Chris Sabin maybe focus on the TNA World Tag Team titles again? We will just have to wait and see. But Moose retaining the TNA World Championship. 20 minutes, 7 seconds. And next, the TNA Knockouts World Championship is on the line. Jordynne Grace defending against Giselle Shaw after winning this title shot in the Knockouts Ultimate X match at Hard to Kill last month. Good match here. Now that Giselle Shaw has gotten rid of the Shaw Taraj, it was one-on-one. Pretty good match. Jordynne Grace getting the win and retain. I think this was definitely the right decision to have Grace retain. She's got a lot of momentum right now after appearing in the Royal Rumble. And now she is also going to be on the cover of the new Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So I think right now that TNA should definitely push Jordynne Grace to the moon. Have her be the face of the TNA Knockouts champion. So Jordynne Grace retaining 10 minutes, 38 seconds. And now it is time for our main event of TNA No Surrender. The TNA X Division Championship is on the line. Chris Sabin defending against Mustafa Ali, making his in-ring debut for TNA. First, though, I just want to say one thing that I really liked about tonight is that they really put over the fact that this was the first time in quite a while that the X Division Championship was main eventing TNA PLE. And I thought that it's really good that they do want to put focus on the X Division right now. Like they always say, the X Division is one of the things that put TNA on the map. And I definitely think they should focus on the X Division. Has always, along with the Knockouts division, been one of the things that really makes TNA special, really separates TNA from any other wrestling promotion. And now on to the match. Really good match here. I thought these two worked pretty well together. Sabin and Ali. Good match here. And I was wrong with my prediction. I went with Chris Sabin retaining the X Division Championship. But that was not the case. And we have a new X Division champion, Mustafa Ali. Really good match though. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do let Ali though have a pretty lengthy reign with the X Division title. As always, been a very talented worker. His time in WWE, you could argue that maybe he wasn't always used right, but also his work on the indies. I've seen some of his stuff in AAW. Always a talented worker. And I think now in TNA, he's going to have more of an opportunity to show that off. And now on to our next show, which is WWE Friday Night Smackdown, which is a taped episode from last week. the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Our commentators for tonight: Corey Graves and Bad News Wade Barrett. Excuse me. We have women's action tonight. Tiffany Stratton defeating Liv Morgan, and Bianca Belair is on commentary for this match. And newly to Smackdown now, Braun Breaker defeats Dante Chen. Squash match, which I'm fine with bringing him up on the main roster now. You want to make him look strong, get strong wins like this. And to be honest, I was actually kind of surprised on commentary that Corey Graves kind of did mention that he was Rick Steiner's son and the nephew of Scott Steiner. I know it's been a little while now, but with the controversy last year with his father Rick Steiner and Giselle Shaw that took place at WrestleCon, I just thought they would maybe still kind of want to separate him from his father a little bit. But Braun Breaker getting this squash match victory on SmackDown tonight. And the new Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, are in action. And they defeat the Judgment Day. Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio, and J.D. McDonough. They will get a title shot at the WWE Tag Team Championships at the Elimination Chamber against the other members of the Judgment Day: Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest and Finn Balor. That should be a pretty good match there. The Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, are in action along with Paul Ellering, Karrion Kross, and Scarlett Bordeaux. They defeat the Street Profits. And in their corner is Bobby Lashley and B-Fab. And they get the win. And then after the match, Karrion Kross attacks Bobby Lashley with a steel chair. And the main event on SmackDown tonight, LA Knight and Drew McIntyre, ends in a no contest. So that was tonight's WWE Friday night SmackDown, the go-home show before Elimination Chamber Perth, which just a few short hours away. One more show to talk about on this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic, and that is AEW Rampage, which was taped last Wednesday night from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Before I get to the first match, of course, our commentators for tonight: Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, and Daddy Magic Matt Menard. Now on to the action. Penta El Zero Miedo, Commander, and Bounty Hunter Brian Keith defeat Matt Sydal and Private Party and Action Andretti and Top Flight in a three-way trios match. I thought this one was actually quite entertaining. A lot of exciting action in this one. the Young Bucks, the AEW EVPs are in action. Nicholas and Matthew Jackson, gotta get their names right. They defeat the team of Johnny Lyons, and I like this name, Cappuccino Jones. And at one point during the match, there is even a cappuccino chant from the crowd. Young Bucks get the win, of course. And then after the match, they do have new suits on, by the way. After the match, they call Tony Schiavone into the ring. Says, just tripped, knocked him down last week on Rampage. And they give him a $25 gift card for Amazon. And Tony Schiavone asks about the fine, but they say he is still fine. And Mariah May takes on Anna Jay, getting the win. And in the main event on Rampage tonight, as Mark Henry used to say, well, it looks like there's been enough talk. It's time for the main event. We have Roderick Strong taking on Oklahoma's own Jake Hager. Of course, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett get involved in this one, interfering. And then we see freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy make his way to ringside, repaying the favor from Dynamite Wednesday night when Jake Hager helped him out. And he brings Jake Hager's purple hat with him. Remember what Hager always used to say when he was in the JAS, I like this hat. But it's just a numbers game, too much, and the distractions. And Roderick Strong defeats Jake Hager in the main event of Rampage tonight. That was Rampage, and that was all of the pro wrestling on the first day of this big weekend. So far, so good. That's all I gotta say. Definitely had some good wrestling on today's cards from New Japan, TNA, AEW, of course WWE too. And that is all for this episode of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Thank you everyone for tuning in. In the comment section right now, you can go there, leave your thoughts and your opinions on all the shows that took place today. New Beginning in Sapporo, No Surrender, Smackdown, Rampage. And I know in just a few hours or so will be Elimination Chamber Perth. And as of right now, here's the plan. I'm going to try, right after the Elimination Chamber is over, do an episode of Good Morning Wrestling Fans and recap the Elimination Chamber whenever the PLE ends. So stay tuned. 360 Wrestling Podcast. As I always say, the best way to keep up is follow on X, because anytime there's a new episode right here on Spreaker, it gets posted to X automatically. So once again, thank you for listening, everyone. And I will be back in just a little bit as soon as the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event is over. Hope everyone else also enjoyed this first day of this big pro wrestling weekend. because I know I did. And until later, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.